Welcome to my video series known as Business Schools Don't Teach You How to Run a Business, where we answer the question, what should business schools teach you about how to run a business? Hello, my name is Larry Mandelberg, and I wrote the book titled Businesses Don't Fail, They Commit Suicide. It's a book about how successful companies can survive their success and thrive in good times and bad. Clearly, the book is not about suicide. It's about why businesses fail. And most people love the title. The most common reaction is, yeah, that's exactly what they do. Finding the answer to that question, why do businesses fail, became my quest in my teens. I actually spent 23 years researching that answer, that question. And that information that I found is in my book. Now I'm working to fill the gaps between what business people are taught by academia and what they need to know in the real world. Think Rodney Dangerfield in Back to School. Remember that movie? There was a scene where he talks about bribing suppliers. Well, I don't think you have to break the law to be successful, but what Dangerfield describes is the real gritty part of the real world of business for many. Today, I'm going to give you a foolproof process to delegate, regardless of the complexity of the task or the risk associated with it, and regardless of the knowledge or experience of the delegate. Sound good? Good. Let's get started. First thing you have to do is ask yourself, how did I learn how to delegate? I didn't take any classes. I didn't get any formal training. No, they don't teach you how to delegate. They don't teach it to you in business school. They don't teach you to it in grade school. If you want to delegate something to someone, you look for something that you've seen. Most people have learned how to delegate by watching their mother delegate chores to their father. Do you believe that's the best way to delegate critical tasks to your staff? If so, thanks. And have a great year. If not, let's get started. I'm going to scare you. I'm going to give you an 11-step process to perfect delegation. And yeah, I know there's just no way you're going to go through 11 steps every time you want to delegate something to someone. Just takes too much time. Not to mention the time it takes just to teach somebody how to do something simple that you already know how to do, especially something that you do all the time. When you learn how to delegate properly, you'll realize that you're already doing many of the steps without thinking about them. This is a process that can serve as your checklist for all the steps you need to make sure you don't forget before you turn somebody loose on a newly delegated task, along with the best order to do them in. Now, let's get started. Let's get started on how to delegate. And we're going to go here, and I'm going to start with the first thing you need is to be clear about your objective, and you need to write it down. Most people delegate orally, and the problem with that is that every time you say something, your ability to repeat it exactly as stated changes. If you've ever had anybody say to you, hold on, I didn't hear what you said, just repeat what you said. Most of us can't repeat what we said. We can make the same point or share the same information, but repeating exactly what we said is difficult. If you want to delegate effectively, you need to be able to be precise and consistent. Write your objective down. I'll give you an example. I want you to update sales staff on each new product before they take it into the field. So you're giving your technical person a task of communicating with your sales staff, right? Now, I'm not going to type all these in because that'll take too much time and you don't need that kind of information. But I wanted to have something that we can use as a foothold so that I can make examples and give you some metaphors. If you don't start with the objective, you cannot be clear on what it is you're trying to delegate, and you'll end up throwing a whole bunch of things into the pot and confusing the person you're trying to delegate. You might even forget what you've given them. You'll notice I have this form, and I'll tell you that I've had these printed up in 2-part carbonless forms, or NCR forms, so that I could sit down with my delegate and fill it out with them, and each one of us gets a copy that's the same. We actually initial them at the bottom. So the next thing you put in is your delegate and your delegator. Why do you do the objective first? How do you know who to delegate to if you haven't figured out what it is you're going to delegate? So then you talk about the training required. You need to tell them what you think they already know and what you think they don't know or don't know that they need to know in order to do the task you delegated properly. So I might say, you need to understand these salespeople are talkers. They're going to have a lot of questions, so you need to be prepared to answer a whole lot of questions. And they're not technical questions, they're operational questions. So don't think of it like you're talking to another developer or another programmer. Now, this is me delegating to my tech guy before they present to my sales staff. What training is necessary for them to do it? Write it down. Don't try to get everything. Put down the things that the two of you can remember right now in the moment. As you go forward and you think of things, come back up and add it. That's why there's 3 lines. Then this is an interesting thing. People don't usually catch this. You need to ask your delegate if they understand the task. Now, you haven't done much here, right? But you need them to explain what they think you want them to do. Circle it yes or no. If you get a no, don't circle no. Explain it to them. Have them do it again. Keep going until you can circle that yes. You never want that circled no unless you're going to give up on this delegate. Then you ask the delegate what they think the best approach is for accomplishing your objective. Don't tell them what you want them to do. Tell them what the objective is and ask them, how would they go about doing it? This is critical. You will never learn if you don't let other people give you their ideas. You don't have to listen to them, but you need to listen to what their ideas are. Sorry, I said listen. You don't have to follow them, but you do need to listen to them. Then you ask the delegate for the date they think they can be done with the task. At that point, you have a lot of information. There may be critical things you need to tell them that you haven't told them yet, like what I said before. Remember, these people are not technical. You can't give them overly technical information. Remember, they're trying to communicate with the customer, so you need to give them information that will help them make a sale, right? Don't show them all the technical options. Show them the things that the customers that use it will be interested in. And you may need to give them, that may be some of the critical information you need to give them. If their approach doesn't include something that you think is important, suggest it to them. Ask them if they would be willing to consider this as part of their approach. Then ask them what they think a proper measure of success would be. And you want an objective measure, not a subjective measure. You want something that can actually be measured with real data, not emotional feelings. Once you've got that down, now remember, you've got the task, the objective for the task, the training, the approach, critical information. Now you need to ask, how much time do you think you need? Because you're going to have to carve this out of your 40-hour week. What are you going to need money for? Is there a budget you're going to need? Who else do you need to work with? So if I'm going to take my salespeople out of the loop, do I have all the salespeople at a sales meeting, or do I have my tech guy do it with my sales manager? Who are the people you need involved in fulfilling my objective? And what other resources might you need? Might you need a conference room? Might you need a vehicle? Might you need a projector? What are all the resources you may need? Get that clear up front. Now, this is one of my favorite things. You need what I call a delegation contract. And there are 4 types of delegation contracts. The first one is, I'm going to tell you what to do step by step. I don't want you to do anything that I didn't tell you to do. When I give you the first step, I want you to go do it. And when you're done, you come back and you tell me you did it and you tell me how it went. That's the first level of a delegation contract. It's not very effective, but it gives you a great deal of control on the front end. The second is, I'm going to give you this task in steps, and I want you to complete each step, not task, but step, and then come back and talk to me about it. The third is, I want you to complete this task and update me on a regular basis, every week, every other day, once a month, whatever the case may be. That's the most common. And the fourth one, I'm going to highlight that third one because that's really the most common. The fourth one is take action and report back when completed. That's in other words, I trust you. I know you're going to do it right. Go do it. Come back and tell me when you're done. Now you'll notice to the right here, we've got two columns, one for action and one for follow-up. This is where you identify how you want them to communicate with you. Email, in person, written report, voicemail, something else. It also gives you a chance to tell what you want in the follow-up. So if you're going to ask for a written report, tell them exactly what you want in that written report. You want the date, you want the time, you want who you spoke to, you want an overview of what you told them, you want the reaction. Be clear. Don't leave it up to chance, especially if it's a high-risk task that you're delegating to someone who's never done it before. Perhaps nobody's done it before. I mean, this may be something that's brand new in your organization. So if you've thought of any other training that needs to be done at this point, now is when you put it up at the top, up here, training required, right? So now that you've delegated the task and you've got the task, the delegation contract in place, you sent the person on their way, and you keep this document handy. As the task is being executed, you tell that person to update their notes on their feedback for you. You make notes on your feedback for them. When you come together, as the delegation contract defines your interactions, share that feedback with each other and update your own notes so you have an ongoing record of activity during the course of the process. Obviously, if it's a major task and you need more room than this, that's fine. This is meant to be a template. Steps 10 and 11. When the task is completed, the two of you need to sit down and identify lessons learned so that you can improve the process the next time, and how the process went, an evaluation of the process, so that the next time this task needs to be delegated, or the next time any other task similar to this needs to be delegated, you can improve the process. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you delegate perfectly. Thank you for your time. I hope you enjoyed it. If you need to reach me, you can get me at my email, larry@mandelberg.biz. Check out my blog, Mandelblog. And till then, I will see you next time.